In this lesson, we'll look a little at circle walking in Bagwachang. There are some various techniques you can use for walking the circle to help you get more comfortable and more balanced and rooted as you're walking the circle. So, first of all, we'll look at the feet and how this will come into play as we walk into very small circles. So, what we look at first is walking what we call the square. Walking the square is literally getting to a very small circle by going heel to toe with the feet. There's another side of the square, heel to toe here, heel to toe back here, back out this way like that. Okay, so this is walking a very small circle, or walking into the legs of your opponent, pretty much. Okay, but as you can see, looking at my upper body, that although the feet are doing this kind of square, we're staying in a very rotational mode here, where I'm walking very small here, but the upper body is just spinning as if it were spinning almost in place, like that. Okay? So, to get used to walking the very smallest circle, which is what you do when you engage an opponent, is to spin from a large circle into a very small movement. You need to practice that. One way is to, in the center here, this rock, as you walk the circle, say, holding one of the mother palms, like this, walk the circle, you can spin inside, make your circle smaller and smaller, okay, till finally you're so close to the center that your feet are walking what we call the square, again, barely outside the circumference of the rock here. So very small. And once you're there, you can spin back out, walk around this side, spin farther and farther out until you're walking a large circle again out here. Okay? So this spinning in and out is great balance and stepping practice. Even without the aid of a center, you can walk inward with another palm movement here. Okay? Come very close. Walk back out. Bigger and bigger. You can even do a bit of a palm change. Walking here. Walk very close in. And spin back out. And larger, like that. Okay? Now we'll look at a way of walking, instead of a single circle, walking two conjoined circles, or more or less a figure eight. Right? I can circle one center, and then as the circumferences more or less meet at one point, I can walk through to the other side. Using any sort of hand forms you want to, I'll stay with this palm form here. And walk my center here. A good walking distance would be just a nice step out like this. So you can walk perhaps 7 or 8 steps getting around the circle like that. Okay? So sit, walk, use any sort of walking you like. This is a natural gait, sometimes called the lion posture or stepping. At some point, as you reach the point here, like on a Venn diagram, I can step across to this circle and walk around this one. I can make many turns around the circle or go right back into this circle on this side. That's going left side here, and right side over here. Okay? I can do some simple forms doing this. I can use the guard stance posture here. Walk. As I walk through the center here to the other circle, I will change and then have my center on this one, like this. So I walk through here, I will change, come under, and have my center here, like this. Okay. Like that. You can do all sorts of things from the second palm change. There's a movement we call the snake through the hole, where you do this. Okay? You can do that on the center exchange. Walk through, snake through the hole, come around, walk over here, snake through the hole, come around, snake through the hole. It's a little different. Snake through the hole, like that. Okay? It's great to have two partners. The rocks will do for now. But practice walking figure eights, single circles, and then changing as you please. Thank you. Now we'll talk about one of the basic concepts of internal martial arts as far as one of the core movements, and also very much a big part of Bagwajang. And that is the concept of a hand form called rise, drill, overturn, and fall, or rise, drill, fall, and overturn, as most people say. And in Chinese is shang, zhuan, xia, fan. Little rhyme there. So shang means to rise, zhuan, or zhuan means to drill, and xia means to fall, and fan means to overturn, turn over, okay? So this rise, drill, fall, and overturn movement you see over and over in Taiji Chuan, in Xingyi Chuan, in Bagwajang. A lot of different martial arts, even the Shaolin Chuan, you'll see these sort of movements. So really all it is the hand coming up, and as it comes up, it drills or turns in this case, as it rises, and then as it falls, it turns back over and comes down. So it's coming in some kind of a circular fashion like this, which it repeats, often like this. And you can see it on an axis like this, and also on a horizontal axis like this too. In Bagua, you see it coming under here with the rise, okay, and the drill coming through here, and the fall and overturn as it comes over on this side. It's a little more of a horizontal wheel here, slightly vertical, but you see that constantly in Bagwajang. Okay? So there are lots of different routines here. Xingyi has one where they come from inside and comes out like this, sort of thing. It does the same routine in several of the Xingyi forms. And once again, in Bagua, it's very important too. So I'm going to call up a partner here in a moment, and we're going to go over some of the uses of this, where the rise is a penetration movement, the drilling is pushing something offline and penetrating through, the overturn is gaining superior position, and then the fall and overturn can be a grab or a push away. So as Scott moves in here, okay, he's going to offer me his hand. We'll use this side to start with. So as a hand comes into you, or any part of the body here, You rise to intercept it. You drill to push it offline in that fashion. And if we sort of turn this way, you can see a little better how you can actually, the drill can actually push it away like this as you penetrate either inward, upward, or however you're going to be doing in that. And then the fall comes in to gain a superior position, and then the overturn can bring your hand down in a position to grab, push, hit, or whatever it may be. You may be coming in and ending with a grab, like this. You may be coming in and just gaining superior position on top of the arm. You may be coming in to actually hit, like that, as you come down. So there are several ways to do it. Obviously, you can use both hands coming up, and coming in like this, like that. You can go from the inside here, rise, drill, overturn, fall, bringing him in this way. Okay. The other hand can come in, same thing. You can rise from this side, rise from this side. Okay. From this side up, turning in here, getting position here. You can rise from this side, turning in, getting position this way. But very much a part of what Bagua is. If we're coming from this hand, from the other side, we'll be maybe slipping in with a touch here, rising from underneath, coming in more of a horizontal movement, rise, drill, overturn, fall, which you see often in Bagua, and from the other side, rise, drill, overturn, fall, and coming in this way. Okay? Like that. So those are either a vertical placement, like this, horizontal placement, like this, or like this. And you can do a routine with a partner where he just leaves his hand out here in practice, and you can rise from here, overturn, rise here, overturn, here, here, this, and back and forth. You can use two hands. We'll start here. You can step forward here like this, here, and then the other hand comes in. You can come over here, turn away. Other hand comes in here, turn away. He tries to intercept in the middle, like this. Okay. If we turn this way a bit, you'll see that as he comes in here, turn away, here, here, here. And see how the last overturn fall, as he tries to come through that hole, becomes your parry. It slides past there. You come through, taking control of the elbow here, and then through like that. Okay? Okay, nice routine to do there. Okay, very good. Thank you, Scott. So, those are some of the movements. There are lots of routines to do with this. Once again, this shows up constantly in Bagua. Okay, this rise, drill, overturn, fall on different planes, vertical, horizontal axis. It's one of the integral parts of Bagua movement. It can be inside, like this. Okay? It can be outside, as we've seen before. And it can even be going down and under with the same results. So that's shang, zhuan, xia, fan. So rise, drill, fall, overturn. Thank you. In this lesson, we'll look at three concepts very, very important to Bagua. And I've named them myself, evade, encircle, and entrap. The three E's. Evade is to evade an incoming movement. Encircle means, of course, to go around or through that movement in some way. And then entrap is naturally to get someone into a hold, a takedown, finish the technique in some way where you've actually encircled them and thrown them off balance. Okay? So in evade, encircle, and entrap, in many of the Bagua movements, say we'll go back to the single palm change of long shu jins, we'll see that we're doing in the first movement, we're evading something here. You can just see that as the way the form starts. And now we're sort of encircling and going around the movement here, what's called the crouching tiger. Okay? And then we're going to come under and entrap the person and then finally push them away, kick them away, whatever it may be, and finish the form on this side. So we have this, start with this evasion here, this encircling, and this entrapping of the person coming around the blind side. Okay? So as I bring a partner up here, I'm going to talk about how you enter for this evasive movement, and then encircle, and then entrap the person. Okay? So as Scott steps in here, with his left side forward, so you can see a little better, as he comes in toward me, the first thing I want to do is evade this thing. He may be a push, he had a shove. I want to get out of the way of it. So I'm going to be stepping to the side and evading. Okay? And it doesn't take much to get you, go ahead and push away in an angle that you can slip past someone's hand. So I'll evade that as he comes in. I'll encircle, could be encircling the arm, could be encircling the entire body, and then I'll try to entrap him. In a smaller movement, I evade, encircle, entrap. It could be something like this. Okay? In a larger movement, I could be evading, encircling the body, and later entrapping him. This kind of a movement. What do we end up doing there? So the first thing you have to do is get off line and evade. Get away. Okay? The second thing is to, wherever you are, feel the person, stick to the person, and encircle, whether it be encircling the wrist, hand, elbow, arm, whole body, and then get to a point where you can entrap the person. Okay? So as his other side comes in, I'll be evading here, encircling the body, coiling like a snake here, and entrapping the hand here and taking him down toward the ground. Okay? That's one of many movements to do. Another is just, he comes, I circle and get around him. Take him that way. Okay? So the main point is, as he thrusts in, I need to evade this incoming blow. Number one. Encircling can be whatever you want it to be, and the entrapment can be an actual hold, takedown, hit, or whatever, or it could be just getting away from him. Today we'll talk about some of the important concepts or principles in Bagua. Because Bagua really is a martial art built on principles and not on specific techniques or movements. That's why you see such a wide variation of movement in different Bagua forms. One of the basic principles is also a couple of the basic laws of physics. That's centrifugal and centripetal force. Centrifugal force you know quite well if you ever played on a merry-go-round as a child. As the merry-go-round goes faster and faster, you feel like you're being pulled outward and away, like in a centrifuge. Okay? That is when something is spinning outward, you feel an outward pull or force away from there. The other is centripetal force, where you're actually feeling like you're being pulled inward and inside in the opposite direction. So one spins out and away, one spins back in. Okay? A good example would be an ice skater. As an ice skater spins away and keeps the arms out, I'll be going slower in a spin. And as the spin becomes faster, and because they pull their arms in, it becomes faster, they have less mass, it's pulled in toward the center, and then they can spin very quickly around when they have their hands and legs drawn inside. Okay? And of course they spin back out again with their legs out to finish the spin. So Bagua has the same sort of routines. And I'll use a couple of forms in Wang Shujin's first form called Bagua Lianhuanzhang, which means the Bagua connected palms. And we're going to see some of these forces, but they are common in all Bagua forms, as we'll soon see. So as we're walking the circle here, we have our body in just a guard stance here. And in the first movement here, we will come in with a T step and turn in. Well, immediately we're going into a force where we're spinning into a smaller mass with the body as we come in there, okay, or a centripetal force. Okay, so from this wider stance here, we'll be coming in and spinning into a smaller movement. It's easier for me to bring my hands in and spin in smaller than leave them out and spin this way. Okay, I can go much faster. I'm more balanced. So for the guard stance, we do a T step. We spin into what's called the ball holding posture. We're a little smaller here. And from there, in this particular form, we step out in what's called a crouching tiger. Okay? And this is opening the stance, opening the arms, or taking this centripetal force and then applying it, spinning back out into a centrifugal force. Okay? So once again, we come in very small fashion. We have a centripetal force spinning out into a force spinning away from the body like this. Okay? As the form continues, we have here, we're closing, opening, closing again, and then as we finish the form, we're opening. Like that. Okay? So we really are spinning in and out in our inner feeling with the body. It's almost like squeezing a sponge within and letting it go. Squeezing and letting it go. So we're here, we spin inward, out to crouching tiger, we spin inward again to finish, and then outward, we finish the form. Okay? So once again, it's in, out, out. Like that. Okay? So those are the major forces that we see. In a moment I'll bring on a partner here. We'll talk about how those forces can play upon another body. So if we have this centrifugal force and centripetal force, centripetal being the inward spiral, centrifugal being the outward movement, okay, spiraling in and then back out again. And as my partner steps in here, we're going to step forward with a left-sided attack, okay. Now we're going to come in with the Bagua change here and moving into a centripetal movement where I'm getting smaller and then winding up and getting to a centrifugal movement where I'm going out here. I'll throw him away to that side. So we'll do that just a little quicker. He steps in. I move in centrifugal movement. Centrifugal. Okay? Let's try it one more time. Do a little slower here. He moves in. You can do it in this way. I've wound him up, brought him in here, and now I can lift the leg, turn the body, open up and away, and push him off in that fashion. So you have this spinning in and spinning out. One more time. Spinning in, spinning out. Okay. So that's one of the major forces we see in Bagua. Thank you. Today we're going to go over kind of a fun exercise in Bagua, and it's one in which we learn to balance our upper body with the aid of a stone here, a little rock. And it depends on the style of Bagua you're doing, but most styles have different forms where the palm is supporting something or balancing something, and it moves through certain motions where the palm stays more or less pointed toward the ceiling or pointed toward the ground, whatever it may be in the motion. This is a good way to practice keeping balanced. So often if you're moving with a partner, you'll want to keep your hand balanced under his body and then moving with balance with your body to push him away. So this little rock practice is a lot of fun. So just take any size stone, they can get larger and larger as you go along. Place it in your palm. Try not to cheat, just grabbing it. Okay, it should fall out if you turn your hand over. The first exercise will be to take the stone and move it in this fashion, and then move it back out like this. Okay, trying to keep your hand completely flat if possible. Move it in to the rear, and then move it back out. Now notice I'm not just moving my shoulder and arm here. I'm trying to move my body, making a little hole here for my arm to go through, and use my hip to shoulder axis here, the axial skeleton, to move this hand around. I'm not just trying to move it from the wrist or from the forearm. Okay? So to complete that movement, we're going to go in, around, up, spinning the elbow in, and back down to form a complete circle. Okay? Once again, we're going to start here. The fingers turn in toward the body, and then away. You bring your elbow up. You keep the palm high. You spin around with the body, not just the hand, and bring it back in. Okay? Back into here. That's one full movement. Try not to turn the hand too much. If you really want to know if you're doing a good job or not, place a tennis ball there. Cup your palm slightly, and it'll be much, much more difficult to do that with a tennis ball. But once again, place a rock, any object. We used to use small Chinese teacups. Okay, and start with an empty cup. Put a little water in there, a little more, until it's completely full, then try not to spill any water. It's always a good deal of fun. So let's try it again. Inside, up, around, and back in. Okay? It can be done with both hands, of course. You can go inside, up, around, and back in. You can also do this with foot movement. Okay? So we can start from the inside here, do a T-step, let the hand come in, up, around, and finish over here. Okay? You can also continue around by doing an L and a V step, which we learned earlier, by going here, stepping up, T-step, around, step out to an L, a V, back in again, and you can just keep going in that fashion. Okay? So once again, the hand is out holding the rock. You step up, T-step, out to an L, out to a V step, and then we can move on in this fashion or just keep going around. You can also hand the rock off to the other hand, like doing your first movement here, round, and then hand the rock off here to this hand. And then step out, T, turn, V, step around, and then hand the rock off to this hand. and start again. So these can be a great deal of fun. I'm going to get some larger rocks, so we'll take just a short break. Larger stones, I like these. These are sort of river rocks we have in Northern California. Because they fit onto the palm, the fingers wrap around them in a very much a fashion similar to the Bagua dragon hand, or the Bagua palm form, which is very common, and it fits right in the palm of the hand. These also give you a little bit of weight here. You can use these for Bagua weight training. You can add larger and larger rocks as you go. Okay? With the larger rock, you can actually complete your form by gripping the rocks when your palm is facing toward the ground. So to do a single palm change, the Wang Shujin system, I would step around out here, come under, come back around, and then turn back in a normal fashion there. Okay? So you can do any of your forms this way. A lot of different exercises you can do, like the coming in and out of the hands. When you're gripping in a lower position and you come to a palm up position, you can then let go of the fingers and work as a balance exercise. If you have to go down, you can grip it again in a downward movement like this. Okay? So you may have an exercise like this one, going throughout the Sun Chi Kun system of swimming body Bagua. Okay, where both hands are not gripping, and then one hand comes up, they finish, and like this. Okay? You can also adapt your Bagua form, whereas if you have a palm out or palm down, to have both palms up at all times. That way you can walk the circle in a little different kind of palm form here, do a single palm change, and walk it back this way. So you can adapt the movement a bit to go with the rocks themselves. Once again, they can get larger and larger. This is the sort of weight training I approve of, rather than just lifting dumbbells, because you're doing a Bagua movement, you're doing a martial movement, but you're adding a little weight too. You can add wrist weights or whatever, but I think for Bagua, being an open hand form, these rocks are a wonderful way to improve your grip, your balance, and to improve the strength in your shoulder and elbows. Okay? Thank you very much. There are a lot of basic concepts in Bagua that are essential to the understanding of how to actually do the forms. One of those concepts is called Wuji Bifan. Wuji Bifan just means that when something reaches its outer limit, the power dissipates and it has to return. So in a body motion, it's like you reach your outer limits, you pull back, recharge, resettle, gain your center again, and then you can push outward again in this fashion. Okay? So there are many different ways of doing Bagua, many different powers, different body mechanics we have in Bagua. It could be a pulling motion followed by a pushing motion, which you see very often in Tai Chi Chuan. The same thing. It could be a leading motion, very similar to Tai Chi also. It could be a lower push, a higher push. There are lots of different ways of spinning, turning, leading, lifting, penetrating, this sort of thing that you see in Bagua. We'll speak just briefly about how to gain whole body power while doing this. And by whole body power, I mean you're not isolating any one part of the body. So if I'm pushing someone, I'm not pushing from the shoulder, from the deltoids, down through the palm itself, like this. It's a very weak position. And even adding the waist to that is still a weak position. You need to add from the ground up, using the legs, and then driving power from this push off into the ground, the larger thigh muscles, and then pushing away, and that's a much stronger push. If you've ever pushed a car, you'll know that you instinctively get into a position where you won't hurt your back, but you'll be grounded and transferring as much power forward as possible. So with a partner, I'm going to talk a little about how to use the whole body or composite power in Bagua to push someone or to pull someone. So as Scott steps in here, we're going to be looking at how to transfer as much forward momentum and energy from the body as possible using the right frame and the right posture. So he's going to squat slightly and relax here. He's giving me sort of a hand like this. He's put over his body here to give himself a stronger frame here, and also give me something to work on as far as pushing on the arms or the elbows. Okay, so what you want to do is come in and just relax, number one, in a good posture. And try to use the back leg, first of all, to straighten it out and sort of push away. Okay? Keep the hands relaxed as much as possible. Don't really tense the triceps or the deltoids here, the muscles in the shoulders. Just relax, and then sort of stand up a bit, and then try to move your partner in that fashion. Okay? So as we work on that, I'm going to step in and keep adding a little more power by pushing off on the back leg like this and trying to go directly into him like this fashion. Okay? And once again, keeping the hands soft. You see this often in Bagua, this sort of pushing movement. It could be one-handed or two. It could be coming like this. Okay? The same way in the Bagua form. Okay? So we can direct power from the back leg especially, although the front's involved, straight ahead like this. Okay? We can do a lifting movement sort of up like this. Okay? And Scott's favorite, going into the body, which is like this, which brings you back into your heels. Okay? The upward movement, obviously, you use more lift and more rise of the body as you stand up. The lower one, we're kind of going into the front foot more as we push sort of down and in, like that. That's called breaking the root. Okay? So we'll step back a little bit here. So we'll do a straight ahead push. Okay? See how we'll step back in. We'll do an upward push, like that. And then we'll do a downward push, like that. And those three energies, or body mechanical movements, will actually put different power into the person. You can do this back and forth with a partner. We'll back up a little here. I'll step in, push lightly, okay? Step up, push lightly, step up, push lightly, and now it's my partner's turn. We'll come back, okay? Okay? Very good, and we'll come back this way. I'll do my lifting this time. Like that. Like that. And we'll come back to the same, doing a lift. Okay, good. I'll do the downward one, okay? Okay. Like that. And come back the same way, okay? You can also lift from the front of the body. If you're in very close and you don't have enough weight on the back leg, to use that, okay? So in this lift, I'm going to, or this push, I'm going to keep my back foot touching the mat, the very front of the foot down, and use my front leg to push. Okay, like that. Step in. I can do my lift. Okay? I can do my downward by stepping into the foot. Okay, like that. I can do a straight ahead push by coming off the back foot like this. Okay. We'll do one more with the foot up in the air. Okay. Push. Okay. I'll do my lift and my downward stomping movement like that. Okay. Thank you, Scott. So this is very familiar with people doing pushing hands, but this sort of biomechanical structure goes across several platforms, be it Baghuazhang or Tai Chi Chuan or Xing Yi Chuan or some other martial arts too. Once again, it's keeping composite power, composite energy they call it, throughout the body, not pushing with the hands, but pushing actually with the floor itself, staying connected. Thank you very much.
In this lesson, we're going to talk about 3 turning steps in Bagua. We call them the T step, the L step, and the V step. And these are used to change direction. Now, they may be called something else in your style of Bagua, but they are just some natural human movement that you really can't do otherwise as far as making a turn to the right, left, or changing direction from forward to backward. So the first thing we're going to look at is going through with the T-step. Okay? The T-step is really, just as we said, it is a step putting the foot forward and making more or less a T between the 2 feet. Okay? And this is for a change of direction. So if I'm walking this way, I'll make the T-step, turn, and walk back the other way. Right? For this directional change, we just want to put a stop step here, make a turn, and go back the other way. And it can happen very quickly, in that way, or very deliberately, heel to toe, spinning on the ball of the back foot, and stepping out in the form. The other 2 steps are going to be the L step and V step. The L step is done anytime you turn outward with a foot, thus bringing the knees away from each other, opening the legs, opening what we call the qua area here, and then going in either direction here or here, forming more or less an L. The V step will be when you're crossing to the inside over the forward foot, for example, and thus making more or less a V shape of your feet. Okay? In the V step, we'll be bringing the knees back together, closing the hips or the qua area, and bringing the toes inward, as opposed to the L step, which brings it outward. Okay? So the E step is indicative of what we spoke of before as far as the centrifugal and centripetal forces. The centripetal or inward moving force would be the V step. The centrifugal force or the outward moving force would be done with the L step in general. The T step, of course, will be done by turning and retreating in another direction. Okay? So as you're walking the circle, you'll step up and do a T step to walk back the other way on the circle. Okay? You can also employ the L and V steps. If you want to walk to the outside of your circle, you can do the L step to the outside, a V step to bring you around, and then back inside here. You'll see the T, L, and V steps in nearly every Bagua form, whether it's a single palm change, double palm change, etc. In the single palm change, out of the Wang Shu Jin system, you use the T step to stop direction. As you turn inward, you step out to what they call the crouching tiger form, and then open up with a slight L to finish, and then back out. In the second palm change, what's called the Shuang Huan Zhang, or the double palm change, you actually use the T and L and V steps together to make a complete circle. So, starting from the beginning, the T step brings you in, you open to crouching tiger, open out with an L, spin in, turn with a V, back down, and then back out. So we use the L and V after the initial T return here to open out, step around, and come back through. So these are circling steps. Now, not only in the form can you use these steps, but also when you're working with a partner, they can be used in what we call trapping methods. Okay? So I'm going to call a partner up here. Dylan, if you step in. So what we have here on the trapping methods are using the T, L, and V to trap feet and to break the opponent's route, turn them, and otherwise control them if possible. So if Dylan, you just put 1 foot forward. The T step comes in and wraps around the foot here, and we can change direction. And as we do, we actually pull the foot with us like this as we go with the T step. Okay. Same with the L step, stepping around through the opponent. We can actually break their route like this. Or if I use the inside step, the V step, I can break their route here, like that. So, with my forward leg, I can step in with a T and actually control if I have to, and even pull him up. Okay? I can step in with the inward step, the V step, control this way, like this. And then I can also use the L step from here and control this way. Right? So it's a way of breaking the root, of breaking the posture below. If Dylan gets in a very strong posture here, he's going to be a tough guy up here, okay? All right, so what I've got to do, if possible, make him a little weaker, yeah. He starts worrying about his balance, perhaps falling down. So anytime you can break the opponent's root, you're just that much further ahead to controlling him. Right? So he may be in here, in a posture like that. I come in to touch. And as soon as I can, I want to try to break his root a little bit so I can then maybe break the posture down, like that. Okay? So those are the ways to step in. Once again, up in the fighting posture, I can do the breaking him here and actually pull him down this way. Okay? Using the T step. Once again, the T comes in to here and can pull away. He can come in with a punch. I can walk through, use the T to pull him out and away from the center. Same kind of punch, I can walk through with this one, stay on him with a inward or a V step, maybe take him down to the ground this way. Okay?
I can also use the L as he comes through to go through him and around here. In that way. Okay? So those are the basic uses of the steps with an opponent. Okay? So the T, L, and V, these turning steps, can trap low or trap high. As Dylan stands in a confronted posture here, we were looking at just now at trapping it low around the ankle, but I can step in beyond his center, or into his center rather, and trap also the knee by turning inward and breaking his root this way. Okay? You can even step a little higher and lock the thighs here and use the thigh turning here to readjust his position also. Okay? For the inside, staying where you are, I can come in, use the ankle, of course. I can use a higher one against the knee and all the way through his center into the thigh, turning him this way. Okay? So as he steps into punches, I can use this one, more of an ankle takedown. Punches again, I can use this one, sort of a knee takedown. Or I can adjust completely from the rear, stepping through the center, using this one, okay, as a takedown here. Okay? So we can go low or high with those in any way we need to, as long as we're locking either behind the foot as he lifts to get away. No. I said, no, you're not getting away. Okay? So you can actually lock the leg in fairly well. So when he steps away, you can go that way. Okay? You can also lock from the inside once again. He steps in, lock from here, and take down here. Okay? Thank you. So, once again, the T, L, and V steps, very useful in many ways in Bagua. Okay, we're going to bring in another opponent here, bring Scott on, and we're going to look a little bit about how, if you are trapped, how to evade and get out of it. Okay, so as I go in to trap someone, I'd like to hang in here and be able to control him and then take him down in this way. He'd like to release the trap if possible. So as he steps in to trap me, okay, what I want to do is to release my knee, raise the foot slightly with the toe down, okay, and step away, either to this side or to this side or wherever I'm going here. That's what when he came in and trapped my foot, I want to get out of it right away. This is called a reverse crane step. Okay, so you can come up with the other leg and trap from the outside. Same thing. I want to pull away and release from him. Okay? So this can be a good partner drill. So we step up here. I'll step in and try to trap Scott from here. He'll release, pull away, a little slower. I step in to trap the leg. He feels the trap, lifts straight up, pushes off a bit, steps away. We'll do one more. I step in to trap. He lifts, same way. He'll do the same to me. He'll trap, I'll lift, push away. He'll step in and trap again. I'll lift, step away, We'll trap again. I can lift a little differently, the rise, drill, overturn, fall, like that, and keep going that way. Okay? All right. You can, of course, trap from the inside to here. You'll pull away in the same way. Here, trap inside. Here, trap inside. Here. Okay, very good. Thanks, Scott. So that's employing the T, the L, and the V steps, not only in stepping in Bagua, but using those steps, those turning steps, to control an opponent. You can control ankle height, control knee height, control thigh height too. We'll look at that in just a second. In this lesson, we'll talk about the single palm change in the Wang Shujin system, just because it's a very simple change, and we can see a lot of the major body principles and forces at play that we have talked about already. The single palm change, or the Dan Huan Zhang in Chinese, is a very simple form. It's always found in any Bagua system. It's usually the very first form. Single palm change, in a nutshell, is changing direction and then applying a different side of the body to the opponent. So if we're walking the circle, aimed at the opponent this way, the single palm change would allow us to change and be on this side. It could be a very quick movement too. You know, if the opponent suddenly changes side, getting ready for a kick or whatever, you see it, you don't like the way he's moving, you get over here, back over here. That's what the single palm change essentially does. Okay? We'll look at several factors here. The stepping, we've learned this before, the T step, stepping up, turning in, okay? Stepping out into what's called the crouching tiger. Very strong, sort of 60-40 stance as far as the weight distribution. And then leaning in forward, finishing, and Wang Shujin system uses sort of a high lift or kick at the end of their form, which we'll incorporate also. Okay? So, a single palm change. As you're walking the circle, we'll do one quick movement here. We come around to make the change. We turn inward. As we do, the hands begin to spin inside. Remember our centripetal force movement, the Shangxinli. Okay, that's turning inside this way. So we have an opponent over here. We've turned inside to react to some incoming force, and then we spin away from there in what's called the crouching tiger. Okay, so once again, coming from here, turning inside and out to crouching tiger. Very strong stance here. This is also entering on the opponent. For the crouching tiger, we'll push out and away, come under from this side, and then come around in a rise, drill, fall, overturn movement, raising the leg finally, and then ending up at the end of the form. Okay? Without the leg raise, it's essentially the same. Rise, drill, step, finish. Like that. Okay? It's a very smooth movement, very simple. From our movement here, we turn inside, crouching tiger, push away, come under, come around, finish. Okay? Do the same from this side. For walking this side, we turn in, out to crouching tiger, pushing away, coming under, up, around, and finishing. It should be very smooth. You're here, and back out. Okay? So we ask an opponent to step in. Dylan. Look a little bit about how this all works with a body to work with. He's standing in just a posture, hands up. As we're coming in, what we want to do is to change our attitude away from him to get to another side. So if I don't like the way he's opening here, I see his back foot could come in, the back hand, whatever, I may want to change, be more over here. Okay, so single palm change would allow me to do that, to move over here. It could be a very quick movement. He may punch. I want to be on this side. A little slower at that. He may punch. Centripetal movement inside. I step, coming from behind, and just coming in this way. If you were to step out to this corner, okay, same thing. Centripetal movement inside. I step through, back over here. Okay, coming with the other hand. Here we go. Centripetal movement. I step inside, and I find a good position behind him here. I can break his root here and also control him from this area here. So, same punch, a little faster. I want to get him offline. Faster yet. Okay. So he's going to find himself with me gone where he thought my target was. Okay. That's one of the movements there, the single palm change. Another is, you see in the crouching tiger, this movement here, where the hand is balancing the rear, one's pushing out this way. We could even work off a self-defense move here, where you grab my hand, I can step in with the rise drill, overturn fall, step in behind with my hooking step here, bring him down here, and move off side a little bit, and you can see how I've got him on this side. Okay? If you bring the other hand here, same here, this hand here, coming down, there's my crouching tiger. As you step away, okay, there's the form. Just right out of the single palm change. Right? Another thing we can do with this is just try to get offline and behind. So as he comes in with a punch, I just want to be away. He's a big, strong guy. Okay? So once again, slower now. I'm trying to move off line, get around. Okay, control from the rear, like that. Or the other hand coming in, I may just want to get out of there, get out the door. So the single palm change, as we're walking around each other here, you know, he takes a punch, so I'm going to want to move away as fast as possible. Okay? Walking around, he grabs my arm, same thing. I want to move in, down, and using the T-step, single palm change, I can do that. Okay? So once again, I'm stepping in, accepting the incoming force, redirecting it, going around, under, and finishing. The finishing movement, as he throws, come in here, he come in here like this, finish here. And that's this inward movement like this, not like that. Okay? Thank you. So, single palm change, some very essential skills. T-step, okay? The centripetal force, centrifugal, again here, and again here. We're seeing moving off the line, taking a new tack on the opponent. A lot of different forces and principles of the body are being applied in here. Thank you very much. From the single palm change, there are a couple of partner drills you can do, working on just accepting forces, the yin and the yang, and moving energy back out again as Scott steps in to help me here. One of them would be in the crouching tiger, where he has thrown a forward hand and I got him into this sort of form here, which we see in the crouching tiger quite often here, sort of moving back in here, stepping in and getting my leg behind him here like this. What he's going to do from there is, as I come in to get him in an arm lock here, an arm bar, he's going to relax his knee, bring the elbow upward, step around, and get me in a hook with his foot if possible, and into an arm bar. I've got to relax, release the foot, raise the elbow, step around, and get him back in the same position. So he'll come around again, relax, stepping, coming around, bringing me back in. I'll step around, relaxing, coming through, trying to bring him back in here, and he'll do it one more time. Step through like that, and my last one, step through, around here, and like that. Okay, so that's a nice little movement. We'll do a little quicker this time. He comes in, I'm here, he comes around, I'm here, I'll step through, here, he comes around, here, I'll step through, here, around, here, step through, here, around, to there. So that's a nice drill. Learning how to give at the right point when you get this young energy and to be in, accepting, and turning away. Okay? Another drill out of the single palm change is a walking drill. We're going to come in, touch wrists, and we're simply going to walk around each other in this fashion. Okay? The point being to stay equidistant, to feel the opponent here, his strength, whether he's coming in or out, not separating, and not really going inward unless we're doing a technique here. So staying in balance with the opponent. Okay? At some point, the opponent can do a T-step, more or less, throw his backhand, and I can slip in and take the other side or walk around. When he's ready, he throws the other hand. I can slip in, take the other side, come around. One more time. Slip in, and back around. And that's a very nice exercise. What you're essentially doing is the opening of the single palm change, where you're here, your T-step, letting this arm slide through here, come under, doing the rise, drill, fall, overturn, and go to the other side, which is essentially the entire single palm change of this, moving around there. Okay? So once again, as we go, okay, he'll come with the backhand, I'll slip through, I'll come with the backhand, he'll slip through, okay, I'll come again, he'll come again, and I slip back. Okay? Very good. Thank you. So just a couple of partner drills. There are many found in this Bagua system of Wang Shujin, and those two can help you with two of the major forms in the single palm change: the opening movement and finishing, and of course the crouching tiger, getting someone into an arm bar, arm lock. Thank you. In this lesson, we'll look at the second palm change in Wang Shujin's Bagua form called the Bagua Lianhuanzhang. which means the bagua connected palms. The second change is called the shuanghuanzhang, meaning the double palm change. It's very similar to the first palm change that we just looked at, the danhuanzhang, or the single palm change. Except in the middle of this form, we're going to do a little 360 and do a low movement and then come out of it again. So in the single palm change, remember, we moved in to crouching tiger, pressed outward, came up, and finished the form. This form, we just add something in the middle of that. So having moved in to crouching tiger, we now open, step out, drill, which looks a bit like this, drill in this way. From there, we're going to turn and drop very low and come out to the same ending we had in the first form. Okay, so it'll be sort of a form within a form. It's done like this. From this side, we turn inward with a T-step. We have our centripetal movement, our inward movement here. We go out to a crouching tiger. So entering low here, very strong form. Notice the knee over the toes in both directions here. If you have your knee coming in more here, you should turn your toe in further. From there, we'll sweep outward, called opening the door, outward and away, step up, and drill. So coming from the rear, crouching tiger, step out, drill. Foot down on the ball of the foot. This drilling hand parries downward, drills inward, like that. From that move, let's see from this side, we'll turn like this, drop to the rear, very low, come out, upward, and rise, drill, fall, overturn, and lift the leg, and step out. Like that. And that's the double palm change. Some things to remember. We have these movements that come and go, like yin-yang, where we have the centripetal movement, centrifugal. Okay? Outward, centripetal, and then turning centripetal. Centrifugal, coming down here, or down this way. Centripetal, opening, centrifugal. Okay? So as we call a partner in here, one of the things we'll do here is to look how we can turn and add pressure. For example, if he comes in with a punch, like here, pressure upward with this drilling movement, like that. Or the drilling movement can even just throw him completely offline using this hooking step here to push him away. Okay? That's the drilling coming in this side. Can also come in and come this way, pressing across like that also. So we have this drilling, hand comes in, offline here. This can even slip in at this point and bring it around here and do just a takedown. Okay? Like that. Okay? So once again, he comes in, I'm here, I can get inside and work with him over here. Okay? The other side may come in, I'm here, I can work with him inside here in the same way. Okay? So that's this movement up into the rear. Comes in again, and also hook this way, bring him down. In that fashion, this hand comes in, I come in here, hitting up to the chin, and you can also move an arm bar from here, and then bring him down. At the end of the form, here, with a rise and trip off to the side. Okay, so on the downward movement, he can come in, can take him in, and downward and away. Okay, can also take him in here, moving downward and away here. Okay, so I can be close to him on this side. And that's the downward movement going here, back out. Other way is a kick again. Okay, I can get it off in that way. That's coming in from here. Another way is he comes in from the rear. I come in this side, bring him back down here once again. You can grab the hand, you slip inside, come in here, bring him down here. Also, lots of different movements in this form that you can use for many, many self-defense situations. Thank you. And that is the double palm change from the Wang Shujin Lian Huanzhang form. Thank you. In this lesson, we'll do the third palm change in Wang Shujin's Lian Huanzhang form, or the connected palms form. This third one is called the Yuan, which is a hawk or a small bird called a kite. Fei Yu Tian. Yuan Fei Yu Tian means the hawk flies in the sky, or I call it swoops upward into the sky, because it follows the movement of the form. So the hawk swoops upward is the third form in Wang Shujin's system of the Bagua Lian Huanzhang. So it begins much like number 1 and number 2. We'll start with the guard stance, doing a T-step, an inward moving position, out to the crouching tiger. This is a little different in that it immediately starts sweeping through that form around. I'll change my movement here, around to the rear. It steps in and does a capture form like this. Okay? From that movement, it turns and drops downward, swoops up, and then finishes outward here like this. So we have a movement that is turning constantly in one direction. So we have here, opening, sweeping to the outside, stepping in, capturing, turning, dropping downward, coming up, and then moving away, like that. And that's the hawk swoops upward. A little bit more information on each movement here. From here, we're stepping in, accepting a little inward coming movement here, sweeping out and away with the L step toward the rear, and stepping up like this. On camera, that opens this way, steps up into this form here. It can be high or a middle position. The feet are doing what's called the ba bu. Ba in Chinese means a number 8, which is written like this with 2 strokes. The feet resemble that. We come in, open, and use this foot to capture, as we'll see in just a moment. As we do that, we'll come in, push downward, come upward in a centripetal movement, and also a ringing or ling movement like this, and we drill up in that way. The bottom hand pushes downward. Okay? Once we've done that movement, I'll go to this side. We'll turn, pull the back foot in, step out, drop like this toward the rear foot, move forward, come in and under, around, rise, drill, fall, overturn, and step out in that way. Okay. So, moving all together, we have this movement, sweeping out and away, stepping up, drilling, turning, dropping, stepping inward and out, and walking the other side. Okay? Starting from this side, we'll see that opening here, turning outward, sweeping into here, turning back, downward, up, and around. Like that. And that is the form the hawk swoops upward. In continuing the lesson on the hawk swoops upward, or the Yuan Fei Yu Tian from Wang Shujin's Lian Huang Zhang form, or connected palms form. This is number 3. We just went over how to do the form. I'll review that very quickly. From this side, step in, sweep around, step up, capture, turn, come down, back in, and around. From this side, I'll be stepping up, sweeping around, opening, stepping in, turning, back down, coming up, and around. Okay? We'll do a few techniques from there, as I asked Dylan to step in here. The main difference from the techniques we've shown from the single palm change will be the interior movement, the circling movement, where you come in and do this inward drilling movement like this. What happens here, and just stay in a stance for me there, is as we sweep around to engage here, we're stepping in to this 8th stance we talked about, this ba bu, which is really an inward hooking kou bu, or what we call the V step. That actually captures his leg right away. So even with no hands, as I step in here, go ahead, in your stance, okay? I'll step in, and I can break his root, as we say, make his knee bend here, drop in his stance from there. Of course, I don't want to come in and evade this hand and rely on my great skills here. So I'm going to come in, as he punches, I'll sweep in, come in behind, capturing the leg, and then using this to form an arm bar movement away this way. If I turn his wrist in a little more, it's more of an upward arm bar like this. Okay? We'll do it very slowly. He can grab my hand, actually, in a self-defense movement. I can turn in and come in here and bring him in here and actually dump him here if I have to. Okay? Or with the grab, I can control by counter-grabbing and bring him in here, dumping him back here. Okay? So it's a nice movement. He comes in, punch. I come in, break his root here. Haven't done a thing to him yet. Stay strong, Dylan. I have to break his root here and then use the arm bar either downward or upward to bring him in a position where I can take him down or at least control him. Okay? So once again, just stay in the stance. I'll come in, I'll sweep in, do the arm bar movement like this, either here or against the arm here, or even under the shoulder, doing a rising movement here, breaking his root. And there I can continue on, stepping to the rear, and holding him down, pushing him this way. Okay? So he can enter from there. I can come in, keep going with it, and bring him down here. Okay? That's seen in this entering movement to here, and then this downward movement over to here, as far as bringing him through. He comes again, you can bring him here, same thing here, downward movement down to here. Okay? So, once again, he comes in there, comes back through, and back out there. Okay? Very nice movement. The sweeping, the drilling, turning from there, turning and dropping. The dropping can also be, you give me a little kick there. Okay? Dropping him like that, doing this downward movement. Okay? Or you can also step in the punch. I can evade the punch, come down, and take him in that way. Okay? So, same sort of movement here, here, and then even off to the edge. Okay? Thank you very much.